What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be predicting the entire Six Nations from start to finish, every game and who we think's going to win. There might be a few surprises here, there might not. What I will say is that I do think there's going to be a clear difference between who's the strongest teams and who's the weakest teams, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as previous seasons. I mean, there's been years where you can easily just see that Italy or Wales were the worst, and I think this year it's going to be a lot closer. So let's get right into it. Week 1, France versus Ireland, the opening game. Couldn't be a bigger game. I mean, in France, I honestly think France is going to win this game. I think France at home is just a team that is so difficult to beat. And I mean, if you do beat France at home, it becomes like such a big accomplishment for your team. It's almost as if it's like you have a good season if you can beat France at home. So I've gone for France for that game in week 1. Italy versus Scotland. I was leaning towards Italy because they're playing in Italy, but I've gone for Scotland. Scotland have a world-class squad this year. Really good players, some very good British and Irish Lions as well. Guys with lots of experience, and I think they'll use that experience this year. I mean, this is a massive year for Scotland. If they don't win that many games, if they don't at least get top 3 in the Six Nations, it's a bust of a year. And I think if they don't at least make the third or fourth playoff for the Nations Series Cup, they're going to say it's a bust of a year. And to be honest, with the squad they have, they should have been doing much better in the last few seasons. So I think if Scotland doesn't have a good season this year, it's time to start worrying. I mean, obviously have the 2027 World Cup, and if they don't at least make the quarterfinal of the World Cup with the squad they have, it's definitely a failure for the squad, and you just have to be honest about that. It's a very good squad. It's the British and Irish Lions, fly half, centres, centre combinations, wings, so many guys in the front row as well, forwards. You just have to, you have to really think for a second. A squad like this should be doing a lot better than they are, and I know the competition is fierce right now, but they've been losing games closely that they could have won. But I mean, I've gone for Scotland to win against Italy, but I do think Italy is going to come out firing the Six Nations. England versus Wales at Twickenham. I've gone for England. I honestly am very confident in this England team going into the season. I think they're going to be a really tough team to beat, and I think they're going to be up there with the likes of South Africa, New Zealand, France, where it comes to really putting in big performances every week and at least playing for a victory every week. Maybe not getting a win every week, but at least playing for a victory. So I think, yeah, England's taken a step forward in the last few months, and I think England is probably going to beat Wales quite handily. Week 2, Ireland versus Italy. In Ireland, I've gone for Ireland. A bit of a no-brainer here, but this Italy team can surprise us. I mean, this Italy team's quite good, building quite a few good combinations. The likes of Stephen Varney playing really well for Exeter, Garbisi playing for Toulon, Breaks playing alongside him at Toulon, and then you have a guy like Menoncello who's moving to Toulouse, a great player. They're going to be missing the likes of Ange Capuazzo, but they have Monty Ioane, Louis Lino. They have great players in their squad, and I think in the forward pack as well, they're building a really solid unit in the forward pack. I mean, they've got some guys playing in the Prem, overseas, and I think they're going to be just fine, but I don't think they're going to beat Ireland at home, but I don't think they're going to be a walkover either. Scotland versus England at Murrayfield. I've gone for England. I think this England team can really go into deep water and come out on top, where we haven't really seen that from them in the last few seasons. I know 2024 they got really close a few times but just couldn't get the win. I think the likes of the South Africa game, they kept it close. The All Blacks game in New Zealand, they took them really close a lot of the times, but now in the last few months they've really been better at converting in in the second half, the last quarter of the game. So I think this is something that if they can keep this form up, they'll do really well. So I've gone for England to beat Scotland in Scotland. Wales versus France. This was a tough one. Now I've gone for France for this one. I think, don't get me wrong, I'm very confident that Wales is going to have a much better season. But what a good season looks like for Wales might be winning only a few games, but really improving their style of play, getting some close performances, and giving some, not just youngsters, but making sure those guys that have been youngsters for the last few years are now experienced international players. And trust me, when I look at the Wales squad, I think to myself, how is the squad doing so badly? But there is a bit of a lack of depth there if they do get injuries. But I'm very excited to see how this Wales squad does do. And I really am rooting for Wales to do well because as a rugby fan in general, I absolutely love Welsh rugby. I think they are awesome. And I still really want to go watch a game in Cardiff. Apparently it is awesome. For me, I want to go watch a game in Cardiff, Murrayfield, France, all these places I really want to. I've been to Twickenham a few times because I live here in the UK. So yeah, I'll really tick that one off. So yeah, I've gone for France to beat Wales in Wales. Wales are going to make it tough for France, but I just think this France team is quality right now. In week 3, England versus Ireland at Twickenham. I've gone for England again. You might think there's a bit of favoritism, but I promise you, I'm actually not an England fan. I don't support England. I just support rugby, and I think this England team is really on the up right now. And they've actually beaten Ireland quite a few times in the last few seasons, and they seem to be doing it a bit more regularly. So, yeah, I've gone for England at Twickenham. I think they're going to get the win there. Wales versus Scotland. I think this is going to be a great game in Wales, but I've gone for Scotland just because I think they have a bit more of a quality team right now. And if things start to click for Scotland, they're going to be a tough team to beat for anyone. France versus Italy. This will be a close game. They always have a close game. It just depends whether Italy hang in there in the second half with France. Because, I mean, I think it was last season or the season before they nearly beat France. But, I mean, last year France was just in a league of their own. So, yeah, I've gone for France for this game in France. Very tough to beat. Week 4, 2 weeks left of the Six Nations now. Ireland versus Wales in Dublin. I've gone for Ireland. I think it's a bit of a no-brainer here. Ireland in Ireland always seem to step it up in front of the home crowd. I don't know whether they're going to be in the position to win this tournament then. Maybe they will. I kind of feel like it's going to be a three-way fight for whoever's going to win between Ireland, France and England, and maybe even Scotland if they get their way in there and get a few wins. I'd like to see every team lose a game at least once. That would be very entertaining for the Six Nations as a neutral. So yeah, I've gone for Ireland to beat Wales. Scotland versus France. In Scotland, I've gone for France, but I think this could be a game where Scotland could maybe get a win if they really things click for them at the end of the tournament. But the problem with Scotland is that normally near the end of these tournaments, it's almost like they lose their imagination, like the energy is gone in the team almost, and the motivation's gone, because they always come out the first 2 or 3 games firing, and we're like, everybody's talking about Scotland, and then it just seems like the energy normally takes a dip. So if this happens, I mean France for me. So I've said France to beat Scotland in Murrayfield, but I think that's going to be a game I'm really excited for. Now, Italy versus England. England always have a tough time playing against Italy in Italy. It's like, I don't know, it's basically like South Africa playing in Wales, except for last year and the year before. But beforehand, it's always just a tough game to win, and it's just always an uncomfortable game for them. I still think they will win, and I think this team from England has grown a lot in character, and they're getting better each week, every time they play. Same for Italy, though, and this is actually not a game that England could just write off and send a second-string team. I think this is going to be a tough game to win, especially if they are playing for a win in the Six Nations with 1 week left. They really need to get a win there. So I've gone England to beat Italy. Now going into week 5. These are my predictions here, guys. Ireland versus Scotland in Ireland. I cannot wait for this one. It's going to be awesome. I've said Ireland are going to win, but wow. Ireland versus Scotland for me is just one of those games I always want to watch. I don't know, there's probably a long history of rivalry there that I don't know about because I'm not really familiar with that, but it just feels like they want to beat each other so bad. So I've gone for Ireland for that game. Wales versus Italy. This, in my opinion, will probably be to see who becomes last in the Six Nations or second to last. But Italy can surprise us. I mean, Wales can as well. But I'm quietly confident in this Italy team. That's either they're going to be fighting for 4th or 5th, or they're just somehow going to win 2 or 3 games against some big teams. And I really think they can. I mean, they've beaten Australia now in the last few years. They've taken other teams very close, and they're getting much better as a squad. The under-20s are looking good. Things are starting to look up for Italian rugby, and I'm really excited about it. But I've definitely said Italy are going to beat Wales. It is in Wales, though, and it's always a bit of a tough game, these ones. But the thing is, with Italy, winning these games now, I don't think they're going to celebrate as much as they used to, because I think it's going to become a normal thing now for Italy to win games in the Six Nations. So yeah, I've gone for Italy there. Then I think the decider will be France versus England. I think England right now are really on the up. They're really looking like a very good, sound squad. We've got a lot of depth. If you look at that England squad, in every single position, they've got world-class depth and world-class players coming through. And I think they've really been using their bench quite well. The Pom squad, I heard some people calling it. I quite like that one. I know the Springboks have the Pom squad. I'm a Springbok fan, and I like the Pom squad, but I also like the Pom squad. It's quite cool. But they are playing in France, and I think a game of this magnitude, if this could be the decider, I think France will just win it. Trust me, I think England are a very good team right now, but I think France are still just that little bit better, just a little bit. And especially playing at home against France, they just play like a different team. So for me, my predictions for the Six Nations is that France is going to win the decider against England in the last game. England is going to come second with only 1 loss. Ireland to come third. Scotland 4th. Italy 5th and Wales 6th, but this could all be different, and it could be a completely different way. I mean, England could lose to Italy and still end second, or Italy could beat France and still come last. You just don't know what's going to happen, which is why I love international rugby, which is why I cannot wait. I'll be doing predictions, previews for all the games, predictions. You've heard my predictions now in full, but you'll be hearing my previews for the games, my reviews, my full-time reactions, my player ratings. I'm gonna try to do player ratings for every team to accompany all fans, because I want to be able to bring all the fans from all these countries to the channel because I love all these countries and watching them play. I mean, I'm a South African fan myself, so I'm a neutral for all these games, and I just can't wait for all of these games. And I'm really excited to see. There's a lot of storylines like, can Wales finally have a successful season? What does a successful season look like for them? Can Italy finally show that they're not the same team that's going to lose by 90 points to the All Blacks with their young stars coming through? Can Scotland finally play to their potential for a full tournament? Is Ireland going to play some of their younger players, or are they going to stick to the older guys that are going to retire soon? And what happens then? Is Ireland on their way down? I don't know. England on the up, looking like one of the informed teams, maybe even the team to beat. And then France, the team that is so tough to beat at home. Can they replicate that form away from home? Dupont's back. Jalibert and Dupont will probably be the 9-10 combination, and I can't wait for it. Will they bring Pinot back? Will they bring Aldrit back? A lot of storylines, and I can't wait to see how these games play out, guys. But if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're nearly at 1,000. We're aiming to try get to 1,000 before the Six Nations or during the Six Nations. So yeah, guys, if you do enjoy the content, we'll be following all the games, doing in-depth previews, full-time reactions, player ratings, all of that, predictions for who we think the coaches might pick as well. So yeah, guys, if you do enjoy that, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.